and going into my Bionic Lester. This is, compared to the Verbos Amp and Tone, a more transparent, more subtle filter. It sounds really, yeah, it's a sweet sounding, nice filter. Hello there, I'm Ahmet Sisman from the Third Room Studios and welcome to my new show called Let's Patch on the Thomann synthesizer channel. I want to show you with simple and yet effective techniques how you can create evolving and dynamic sounds on a modular system. Today I will demonstrate in the first episode a drum patch, and yeah, let's get started. So, we are going to use two modules. The first one is the Tip Top Audio Heads 909, which is, in my point of view, maybe the best 909 clone out there. It's a pure analog sound source. The second one is going to be from Dreadbox, the Dystopia. It's a noise and crush filter. I'm going to use the pink and blue noise sources. And to sequence these two modules, I will use the Westlich Performer. This is a DIY project. You cannot really buy this on the common shops, more like secondhand. The reason why I'm using this sequencer is because it's really familiar to the Electron sequencers, like with the parameter locks and triggering the sounds and anything else. I really like it, but all in all, you can use any sequencer you like. For example, the Erica drum sequencer is also pretty great to trigger drum modules. Yes, so we are going to start. I'm going to connect on gate 1 my closed hi-hat. On gate 2, I'm going to connect the open hi-hat, gate inputs of course, and then we are going out with the heads output into my input of the amp and tone from Verbos. This is actually a really great filter, and it's a colored one. When you go beyond 12 o'clock, it's distorting the sound in a really nice way, which I like. And I'm also going to use the amplitude. I will show you this later on. So I'm connecting the output into my Cosmix mixer. As you see, there's already something going on. Yeah, and I'm going to also tell you later on how I will use the send return effect on the Cosmix mixer. Now, let's maybe come to one of the most important aspects of drum sounds, using the accent. For this, I'm going out of my control voltage source from the sequencer into the accent. And I actually want to modulate with different control voltages the accent. As you see here, we have different control voltages. The reason why I'm doing this is I want to give the module different loudness and attack times. So imagine like a rear drummer is playing a drum pattern and is always hitting the drums, sometimes harder, sometimes softer. This is giving it more like a human-like feeling. So you have kind of a more dynamic pattern going on. Okay, I will also modulate the AM input of this module. For this, I'm going to use the Kermit. This is a 4 or 5-in-1 module. It can do a lot of stuff. You can use LFOs, it can trigger envelopes, or let's say it like this, it can create envelopes. It's also a sample and hold function. It's also a bus synthesizer, and even much more. It can also do random sounds. But for this demonstration, I'm going to use the LFO. And I'm always syncing my LFOs to the tempo of the whole track, like to my BPM. And it's synced with my Pamela's workout. Okay, so output A is going into the FM. And I'm modulating the internal envelope of the heads module. If you want to just listen to it, I can turn up the volume. And you hear it's changing. You know, it's not a steady sound. If I'm just removing this, Yeah, so you have these little changes which is giving the drum pattern a more lively vibe. Last but not least, I'm also going to modulate the amplitude of the filter. This means the volume is going slightly up and down. And I'm going to use here the linear input. I don't want to have drastic changes. I just want to have slight changes. Okay, so let's get on to the second module. I'm going to mix both sound sources, the pink and the blue, because I like more a mixture of it. I'm going in from the pink and blue noises into my VCA. And that's what I'm doing. I'm mixing both channels and going into my Bionic Lester. This is, compared to the Verbos Amp and Tone, a more transparent, more subtle filter. It sounds really, yeah, it's a sweet sounding, nice filter. Like really, they cannot be more different, but that's the thing. What I really like, to have two different kind of filters with different characteristics. I'm going into the A input and very simple going out with the A output into my second input of the mixer. Now you're will hear a steady noise source. Yes. Here this is my low pass filter. I'm going to use a band pass filter because I just want to use the mid-range of the noise source. Yeah, so maybe let's something like this. But now, of course, I don't want to have a steady sound. I want to trigger that noise. What I'm doing, I'm sending out from gate 3 a trigger input into the Zadar, which is an amazing CV modulation source. It can create envelopes, LFOs. You can modulate anything what you want with this module. It's really nice. For this demonstration, I'm going to use the envelope generator function. And yes, as you see, there is an envelope going on, and you can decide how long this envelope is going to be. This is nothing else than deciding the decay amount. I'm going out with this A2 into my CV input of the VCA. What does this mean? It means every time when it's sending out a gate signal, the CV input is going to be triggered. As you hear, here's our drum sound. Now I can make it shorter, I can make it longer. Okay. Let's close this down for a second. Yes, and now the last step before we are going to jam with this is I want to have a bit more control over the decay time of the Zadar. What I'm doing, I'm using the IntelliGel, the Planar tool. It's a really nice CV modulation source where you can control the CV modulation with this joystick. This is maybe the most fun part. So I'm going out with the axis X into my assign 1 and assign A. So I will have over this control over the time parameter. And the second one, while I'm going to have control over the time parameter, I want also have the ability to open and close the cutoff frequency of the Bionic Lester. So I'm going with Y into the input of the cutoff frequency of the Bionic Lester. If you're going to listen to this, yeah. So this is going to be the fun part alongside with this, with the hats. Okay. Before starting with the live jam, I want to explain shortly the mixer and how I'm using the effects with the mixer. I'm sending out from the aux channel into the input of the Verb, and I'm going back into channel 7 and 8. This is my return channel. And with that, I'm using the effects on the drum sounds. It's a combination of a reverb and a delay. And you can insert that effect with the aux function. Yeah, so that's it. It's giving the drum sounds a bit more room and space, and it sounds much nicer than without the effects. And I can recommend you to use effects always on send return channels, so you have a bit more fine tuning and better control over it. So yeah, let's get started with the live jam. Okay, that was it for today. I hope you enjoyed the patching session and also the live session. I'm going to upload all the recorded samples and the sound I have used into the description in a link. You can download them and use them for your own productions. If you have any questions, just write me in the comment section and I'm happy to answer all questions about the session today. In general, about modular, if you have questions, if you need more information, what I'm using, how I'm using it, feel free to ask me, and see you next time.